released its all-pro team, voted on by the players. No Bills players made the list. What's your reaction to that?
Go Bills.
What is up, YouTube world? Football fans, Bills Mafia. How exciting is this? The playoffs are upon us. Get in the comments, everyone. Let me know if your squad made it to the tournament or if they didn't. Let's talk football. Let's talk playoffs. Hit that like for me. But how about that? The All-Pro honors were announced, voted on by the players, and can you believe it? Not a single Buffalo Bill made it. And I like this that Josh didn't pay this any mind. Hey, I'm focused on the playoff game. You know, this is it. We're trying to win this ring as the window's still open. Everyone wanted to hate, doubt, the Bills' window's closing, this, that, and the third. Nah, man, we turned it around. I kept telling everyone that I still believed. And here we are. Number 2 seed, took the division back from the Dolphins. They just held it a little while. I tried telling all the Fins fans, I know you guys feel it slipping away. They wanted to front and stunt and act like they were not sweating at all. But y'all see the way it went down, man. And this Bills team is good. They're for real, but it's all about focus. You know, that's something I've noticed with Josh Allen, and I point out many times, Josh can get in his head. There's so much mental aspect to the game as far as, with players, with their focus. That's in anything you do in life, having laser-like focus and being able to keep all the BS and flunkery out of your mind and, concentrate on the task at hand is key. And not to mention all the X's and O's, game planning, schemes, all that, watching game film. Football is so mental. There's a lot of chess going on out there, and I love that Josh just said, go Bills. We're not even going to go there. As, we got this home game, number 2 seed, Pittsburgh coming to Buffalo. No TJ Watt. TJ Watt is out, and looks like Mason Rudolph is starting, and I feel great about this. I feel this is, I don't want to, talk ish and say it's just going to be an easy win and ish all over the Steelers. But I feel very good. Let me know how you feel, your predictions, and what you think about the Bills getting the snub when it comes to the All-Pro honors. What's that all about? Do you agree? Do you concur? Was there not a single Buffalo Bill that had that caliber of a season this year, or what?
Very well. Their backs are really good, and Mason's not turning the ball over, and they're staying ahead of the chains and not putting themselves in bad positions.
Phenomenal leader. I think that's a underlooked aspect of who he is, but I feel like it should be acknowledged. And that's in terms of being on the field and off the field. On the field, he'll point out something in the game, while I'm lined up and catch me off guard, but it'll help me out in that moment. And then off the field, just kind of sharing his knowledge and what he does. Just people in the locker room. It's a pretty vet-heavy locker room, both offensively and defensively. So just those guys and sharing their knowledge.
How about Dawson specifically? He went out with an injury, but he's battled through some stuff off the field, on the field over the past couple of years. What has he shared with you this season?
Dawson's been awesome. He's been like a big brother this season. Even when he was out, he's right there the whole time, sharing what he's seeing and his tips and tricks. So he's been everything I could imagine. So as he said.
Now Dalton Kincaid talking about Stefon Diggs being a leader. We're going to talk a little bit more about Diggs momentarily, so stay tuned for that. But also, you heard what he said. He did not hit the rookie wall this season. He's continued to progress. He had a great game last week. And, leading into the season, there was all these talks about personnel and formations and what the Bills' offense would be looking like with 2 outstanding tight ends like Dawson Knox and drafting Dalton Kincaid. And obviously Knox went out with an injury, but Kincaid is flat out saying Knox helped him out a lot, even when he was hurt. Talking to him, helped keeping him focused. And this is so dope as now we saw last week, Knox is back healthy. Kincaid, do you think we'll see a lot of the 2 tight end sets out there? Do you think they'll have a big impact on the game? As again, was what everyone's takes were coming into this football season, and here we are now in the playoffs. So I love it. I hope they're a big factor and can really make it happen out there with this offense in the passing game. Now, Teron Johnson also was speaking about the Steelers and saying that they've been running the ball very well, and Mason Rudolph has been doing pretty good since he had to step in with all the injuries and everything like that. And I think that this Bills defense can definitely cause a disruption and get on Mason Rudolph's bumper and stuff to run and all that. As how amazing has it been all season long, the way this defense has showed up and showed out and just played their arses off all year, even with all these injuries. And speaking of injuries, we already just spoke about TJ Watt being out for this playoff game, this wild card game. That's a huge loss for the Steelers. But with the Bills, you see the injury report. And there's quite a few, not quite a few, but a few names on there. Some guys just taking a rest or were limited or whatever. But the 2 key injuries that I'm looking at that are going to possibly not play, or I don't want to say more than likely not play, right? I don't want to jinx nothing, but Gabe Davis, we saw what happened when he went down out there in that game against the Dolphins. We saw the frustration. It just felt like he knew something very serious was wrong. He went to the locker room, came back out, was in his clothes, took off his equipment. He wasn't playing. And now we're seeing he's listed as out with a knee injury. So I don't know. And Gabe had just been stepping back up and finding his rhythm a little bit, something out there, making some big plays and contributing over the past few weeks. And then now he's out during the playoffs. That sucks, man. Ever since I always liked Gabe from day one when the Bills drafted him. He made some big plays in his rookie season and was always there. And then obviously a couple years ago in that crazy playoff game, the 4 touchdown receptions he had, tying a NFL playoff record, and almost was the hero. Ever since then, last season, Gabe was getting criticized a lot. A lot of, individuals were saying, this guy's overrated, he ain't all that, etc. But I was really liking what I saw from him, and now he's hurt. But the other, and so that sucks, man. Let me know your thoughts about the receivers. Shakir coming up big. We spoke about the tight ends and all that. Let me know who you think will be out there majority of the time when it comes to the receivers. Now, the other big injury we got to talk about, though, where, I don't know, he didn't practice, and I'm worried because it is also a knee injury, is Rasul Douglas. And this hurts. I hope something changes and he's able to play, but I don't know. As that was so heartbreaking once again to see him go down last week in that game against the Dolphins when we won the title. Douglas, obviously, we acquired in a trade this year right before the trade deadline, and he stepped in and just produced from day one. Really, really stepped up, and whoever masterminded that trade, great trade. It helped out this defense and team immensely, as this, man, obviously we've been bit by the injury bug like crazy, but man, when it comes to the defense, I mean, we've lost some of the best in the league at the positions, type like with Milano and Trey White going down again and some other injuries. It's just been so killer in the worst way. And again, the defense always continues to step up, but this is going to hurt. He just had that big game a couple weeks ago with what do you have, 2 picks? I think he got defensive player of the week honors and all that, and I don't know, man. So let's hope he can improve or possibly be out there in this playoff game, but I don't know. I want to say I don't think it's looking too good. So everyone out there, again, hit them comments. If you're new, sub up. That's what it's all about over here, is hearing from the people, whether we're talking music, news, sports, current events, life, all that we do on this platform. I need to hear from y'all. But let me know if there's any other big injuries I missed, what you think about everything we're touching on in this video, your predictions for this game, and, what big matchups and whatnot do you think are going to be the key factor in this Bills-Steelers game? Let's talk it all. And once again, I feel very, very good about this game and the Bills and the momentum we got coming into the playoffs and everything. We definitely had our struggles this year, but as I kept telling everyone, don't count us out. Don't stop believing. And here we are, turning it around, closing the season out hot, getting the divisional title back like everyone thought that we couldn't do it. And, a great momentum. We're hot coming into the playoffs. Other teams are slipping coming into the playoffs. Now, as I said a little earlier when I was referencing Dalton Kincaid talking about Stefon Diggs being a leader for this Buffalo Bills team, I told y'all we got to get to some Diggs discussions in a little bit. This is so wild, man. I don't know if you guys saw this. McCourty, who used to play for the Patriots, a safety, has played against Diggs, now involved in the sports media world. And he made some pretty wild comments about Diggs and the Bills. And, as everyone knows, we saw the way it ended last year with Stefon Diggs being frustrated and all that, and how he took some time to himself over the offseason, did his thing, went to Coachella, I believe, and all that, just trying to get his mind right. And ever since then, there's been all these discussions and everything about Diggs being mad and he wants out of Buffalo. And I'm not going to front, there was certain particular times where I was wondering if there was something there, but the more I looked at it, I kept just saying, man, Diggs is a competitor. This guy is amazing at what he does. Y'all heard him. I'm him, and he means it. And he can say that because he is that dude. And him and Josh made a great connection in Buffalo, quarterback to receiver and all that. But there's just been all this talk trying to get at that there's some kind of controversy with Diggs and Josh Allen and the Bills and all that. But again, I don't see it. I think he's just an emotional dude. He can feel how close this squad is to getting that ring. This is a special team. All the talent on this roster. This team is for real. We're going to get this Super Bowl. I'm telling y'all, I feel it. I feel good about it. Let me know if you feel that way as well. And we saw some other stuff this season as Diggs' brother with the Cowboys threw those tweets out there and, put Stefon Diggs in an awkward place where he is caught between his brother, his teammate, and Josh Allen, who is like his brother when it comes to this game of football, against a blood relative, which I thought was fucked up. I thought Trayvon was a prick for that, man. Y'all let me know what you guys think about it. As we saw last year, or maybe it was the year before, when Diggs signed that extension, Trayvon was tweeting a lot of stuff about Stefon and the Bills and money and this, that, and the third, and talking about him coming to the Cowboys. And all in all, he ended up pulling up at the end of the day with Stefon Diggs to one Bills drive for him to sign that extension. And it almost seemed like they put that play together. I don't know. Maybe not. But he was talking greasy. He was dissing Josh Allen. It was a game where the Bills struggled and was talking about Stefon's got to get out of there. More or less saying Stefon Diggs was the only reason for the success Josh Allen has had. I mean, just stirring the pot. I don't know. I didn't like that, man. And I thought that was some other ish. You notice, I don't think he really said much on Twitter unless I missed it after we walloped the Cowboys a few weeks ago. Where were you, Trayvon? What happened? But McCourty, this was all leading into this Bills-Dolphins game for the AFC title, was saying it felt like to him that the Bills were trying to prove that they don't need Stefon Diggs or implying that the controversy that everyone's been trying to say is there, according to McCourty, and that, Stefon Diggs will be gone. And he was just pointing out how Diggs' numbers have been down this year. But he had a pretty good game in the Week 18 AFC Championship matchup that the Bills won. 8 targets, 7 receptions. Targeted 8 times, 7 receptions, 84 yards. He had that one big catch, man. That was beautiful. I mean, Stefon Diggs just puts together highlight reel like catches every game, every time he gets out there. And we've seen this year, Josh has had a tougher time getting that connection that he had with Diggs. That just a couple years ago, they were like unstoppable. There was one season he was the leading receiver in the league. But McCourty was really going in, almost, even getting to the point, as I'm paraphrasing all this, but he really said a lot, saying that he felt Diggs was mentally checked out, and he only had 1 touchdown over the past few weeks of the season, was held under the 30 yards a couple games, and that there was some points and times where Diggs was not on the field as much, even on some third downs. And I'm not going to front, I have noticed that from time to time throughout the season. Why is Diggs not out there? It's a third down. How do you not have Stefon Diggs on the field? As, this theory that McCourty's putting together, always points at that the Bills have, said Diggs is healthy. There's no injuries or anything like that he's been dealing with or playing through, and basically just he's saying that there's just no way that there is not something wrong, Diggs is that guy that is best when he's out there on his ish, running his routes, making his plays, talking ish. That's the kind of guy he is. When he's talking shit and focused and has that rhythm going, you don't want to see Diggs. And McCourty just basically keeps saying that there's just no way that there's not a problem, with the lack of chemistry from previous seasons and his numbers being down and all that. As he finished out the season with pretty good numbers, 107 receptions, 1,183 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think ranked as the 8th wide receiver. So he's still in the top 10. But it's just been different. I don't know. It's defenses that found a way to kind of jam up that Allen and Diggs connection. And McCourty just says it's just bad football. Something's wrong. It's all bad. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I want to know everyone's thoughts about this. Why has it been so tough for Josh Allen to have that chemistry with Diggs like he has? Why have we seen him out on the field less, him on the sidelines during third downs and stuff like that? And what is your take on it all? I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, again, I don't think there's really an issue there. We know Diggs is a competitor. He turns up. I'm sure he definitely is super frustrated at times. But you see at the conclusion of that Bills-Dolphins game, before Josh and Stefon went to celebrate and tell the Bills Mafia members out there to make some noise and all that, they dapped, hugged it out, and you could actually hear them saying 4 more, 4 more wins to get that ring. To me, that's clearly not the actions of a quarterback wide receiver relationship that is damaged to no return, and that a wide receiver that is just mentally checked out would do. I'm just not buying it. It's just been a tough couple seasons. The Bills last year, DeMar Hamlin, thank God he recovered. The long, grueling season, all the injuries this year, just everything that's happened. It's been a lot. Sometimes when you're involved in something so special, something so great, the heartbreak and everything can be even more intense. But when it's all said and done, I believe, this team is going to get that ring. And I don't know, I'm not buying it. But McCourty saying the Bills are going to get rid of him and all this, I don't know. Let's talk about it. Comment. comment. Let me know if you're worried. Let me know what you think about what McCourty's saying and all that. Give me your takes. And go Bills. I can't wait for this matchup Sunday. Now with some other news, Jim Irsay, Colts owner, hospitalized and has been hospitalized. The team said that he's getting treatment and that he's going to be okay. He's getting the best treatment available. But he's been hospitalized for a minute. I think he's like 70. Is he 71 or 60 something? He's up there in age. And I don't know. He's been hospitalized for a grip. I didn't know this dude is in a band. He was a power lifter. He's had a lot of surgeries over the years to correct injuries that he had from power lifting. You know what I mean? A dude that's tough, that's active, and here he is hospitalized, gonna miss some big event and not be there with this band. But the team says he will recover and he will be back with the Colts. So prayers out, thoughts out to Irsay. And now we got to get to our last story on this video, our last NFL news topic.
Wasn't just a historian of the game of football. He was a historian of the United States of America military. Yeah. Throughout our time with the New England Patriots, he would put up the history of what's going on with our military, about Veterans Day, about Memorial Day, about D-Day, about Pearl Harbor, and he would teach us and he would make us pay our respect to the military. It was great lessons, and it was always a great time, because if you were a young buck and he called on you and you didn't know what you were talking about, oh, you were in the doghouse.
A reminder of something much bigger, and even why you get to play the game of football is because of the great men and women that protect us.
Without a doubt. And the one thing that sticks out right away is coach's discipline and preparation process. It didn't matter what time of the year it was. You knew coach was working in some form or fashion, picking draft picks with Nike in the background, doing something crazy. But the last thing that really will stick out to me are the nerves of excitement, anxiety, nervousness, scaredness for those elite team meetings where you were in there and you didn't know how to feel. You didn't know if you could laugh or not. You didn't know if you could go out and look at someone the wrong way because he just had everyone on edge. It was a fun experience.
Some days you were shaking, walking into that team meeting. Yeah. Some days you were, head over heels, just with a smile.
Because you never know when you could be tested. Yeah. Like I remember there one time, it was my rookie camp. He looks at me and no veterans are in there at all. And he goes, "Hey, Edelman, who's 72? And I go, Coach, I just got it. Look.
Matt Light.
Matt Light.
Oh,
it was Matt Light.
And you were supposed to know that.
You were supposed to know. And I go, I don't know. He goes, look, this guy's going to be around here next week. He's making $18 million, and you don't know his name? Like, what are we doing, Edelman?
Tom Brady's blind side? And you don't know who he is? Yeah. You're in the doghouse right there.
The impersonations are so good.
That's what you remember is just, it was always you're on.
Well, you guys got
ice around him.
But you got a lot of hardware.
It was like the principal.
All right, so Gronk and Edelman talking about Bill Belichick, as everyone pretty much knows, or not pretty much knows. It's been announced. That's it. He's done coaching the Patriots. That illustrious, amazing coaching career that he has had with the best dynasty in the history of the NFL. Some would say in all of sports. And again, I'm diehard Bills Mafia. It pains me to say this stuff, right? I always say the Patriots, Belichick, Brady, all them Gronk, they're like Satan to me. You know what I mean? It's just on some rivalry-ish, but I definitely give them their props. There's no denying it. And a lot of Bills fans probably remember he also was, I think, defensive coordinator for that first Super Bowl of the Super Bowl era, where the Bills lost to the Giants wide right and all that. Belichick played a role in that defensive game plan to win that Super Bowl. But a few weeks ago, we saw it hit the news that it was official. Belichick and Kraft had talked, and they just both came to a mutual agreement. It was time to move on. Belichick apparently not done, still wants to do more in the NFL, and Kraft wants to start the next era of New England Patriot football and attempt to rebuild and all that. Now, I had seen way before, just a couple weeks ago, when that was discussed, like early on in the season, I believe it was Rappaport. And once again, Rappaport and Schefter always have them sources, man. I'd say over 90% of the time when they break some news, they're on point with it. Let me know if you would agree with that statement. But this was early on in the season, and Rappaport was saying it was already done then. You know, the media has been running with, after that loss, I think, to the Broncos a few weeks ago, a month ago. I think it was the Broncos. It was in Germany, right? That's when it happened. But Rappaport was saying this early on, and discussions then were saying, or I'm sorry, reports then were saying that he was going to go coach with another team and possibly be the GM as well. And maybe he'll coach for a couple seasons, but even after that, he's going to be in the front office, basically see how it all goes. And there was even reports that the team was already decided, like that this was a deal that was already done. And I was hearing a lot of talks that it was the Chargers. Let me know if you think that makes sense. And if you're a Chargers fan, what's up, Scotty? If you like that idea of Belichick, taking over in LA. But I don't know. Now there's a lot of discussions going on, like maybe he's still going to be involved with the team in some capacity or not. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think's going to happen and all that. But that was pretty crazy to hear Gronk say the one thing, if he could just say one thing about playing under Belichick as a Patriot. And Belichick, as his head coach, was the military and history and, what's going on in the military history, current and old, and almost sounded like he ran his locker room and, the rules with the team and all that, like a zero tolerance, military bearing, strict system, that guys couldn't fluck around or nothing like that. And I feel like over the years we saw a few pretty big players. Wasn't there a couple times that there was some pretty good players that got cut? And, it was just because Belichick and the player didn't see eye to eye and he didn't like their discipline and, how they carried themselves. As you hear Edelman talk about, his rookie campaign, off-season, preseason with the Patriots, Belichick asked him about whose number, what did he say, 72 or whatever, and Edelman's like, Belichick just wanted his team, his players, to know everything about their team, probably about the opposing team, just stay focused. And I guess be ready for war, be ready for anything. I don't know. I definitely knew Belichick didn't mess around and had his whole setup the way he liked to do things. But comment and let me know if you had already heard about the whole military thing and aspect to his coaching style. But I thought this was pretty funny with Belichick's time with the Patriots seemingly being over unless something else happens, which again, my understanding was this is already a deal done a long time ago. A lot of fans or former players or just media guys, just anyone who loves the game of football has been taking to social media and sharing their thoughts about Belichick and the Patriots and what's going to happen and just reflecting on his career. And I got a kick out of this. This dude said, of everything he ever seen Belichick do, this is the one thing that he really remembers. And it's pretty funny, man.
Look at Belichick. He can't even hold it back. So they took an intentional delay of the game. The Jets declined it. Then they had a guy intentionally false start, and the Jets declined that one also. Bill couldn't do anything but laugh. Look at John Perry.
Yeah, the next one, I can guarantee they're going to be talking about 15 yards.
That is great.
How funny is that, man? They're up by 20-something, shutting the Jets out in the fourth quarter, a divisional rival. And on fourth down, they're just going to punt the ball. But he wants to give the punter a little bit of room. So delay a game. Jets decline it. False start. Jets decline it. And we even saw Belichick kind of laugh there, as you heard the commentators say, man, there's a rare laugh out of Belichick, to do it with no emotions. But for real, this brought up so many other memories for me of wild-ish like this that Belichick had done. And comment any that you remember, and any that I'm forgetting. I remember, the drop kick. Wasn't that Flutie that he had do that to cap off his career? The first drop kick in however many years, going in the history books. I remember I saw him have the Patriots punt on 3rd down before, and like a trick play. It was the year Castle started for the Patriots on a 3rd down. Bills are lined up in a defensive formation in the Castle-led Patriots offenses, in shotgun or whatever, and snap the ball, and he just punts the ball on 3rd down to try to pin the Bills down deep in their own territory. I think I saw him have the team punt on 3rd down one other time. There was that Super Bowl where he tried to, told his defense to let the Giants score so he could get the ball back. You know what I mean? And another really interesting, crazy thing I saw, I think this is the only time that I saw an opposing coach challenge that the other team did score a touchdown, right? As the Bills were called down on the 1, and Belichick was challenging, saying, no, that was a touchdown. When we came back in 2011, week 3 or week 4 was the year we started out 3-0 or 4-0. We ended up 5-2, but Fitz broke his ribs and Fred Jackson broke his leg. But we ended up beating the Patriots. Belichick was trying to challenge that Jackson did score a touchdown. I don't know. I thought like watching this footage here reminded me of all this wild-ish that Belichick has done during his time in the NFL. So that's going to do it for this one. Once again, hit the comments, everyone. The playoffs, Bills, Steelers, is your team in the playoffs, the other matchups, all the stuff we talked about, the news, Belichick, Irsay. Let's discuss it all. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys later on the next video. Peace.